Hi guys, welcome into the latest edition of Grand Slam Sports. I am Samuel Gailey, and alongside me are
Charles Foster
and Jace Hodge.
Interesting topics for us today to talk about. We have some NFL, some baseball, and some finishing off with some soccer.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm gonna leave the portion for the baseball because obviously I know you hit the ball and you run around the bases, but that's about it. I'm here for the NFL and the soccer, so let's dive right into the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, some exciting games this weekend. For me at least, the biggest disappointments for me had to be Josh Allen and the Bills, and yeah, that just did not go over well with me. I was watching that game. What are you talking about? Like Josh Allen, 4 turnovers, 3 picks, 1 fumble, and not only did you get 3 interceptions, but you threw it to the same guy.
And you also lost to an Aaron Rodgers-less Jets team with Zach Wilson.
Charles, what's your take on your Aaron Rodgers-less team now?
Well, we kind of knew coming into this year that the Jets' defense would be a problem. They were a problem last year, and coming into this year, it was looking the same way. But the offense was the big overhaul, and Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be the head of that. So seeing him go down is definitely a massive blow as a Jets fan, all Jets fans. But the offense, it was at a standstill the entire time, and it was very obvious. And Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson, they do not have chemistry. The only thing that really kept the Jets in that game was their defense, and it's going to be the main thing that's going to keep them in this season if they're going to have any chance.
And kind of going off of what Sam said with the biggest disappointments, the Bengals only scoring 3 points against the Browns. Joe Burrow throwing only 82 yards.
Well, you do have to look at the conditions. It was pouring down.
Yeah, but still, not much going on.
You're looking about the play calls. That is definitely a Browns-centered game. You have the run game. You got Nick Chubb. You got Deshaun Watson. Now the Browns have a quarterback that he can tuck it and run, man.
Yeah.
He can just tuck it and start running. And that's something that teams have to look out for in the future, which is really going to be interesting.
And to you guys, who was the biggest surprise of the week? The best team, you think?
The biggest surprise? That's tough. That's tough. I mean, we're looking at some other games here. The most exciting game for me, and you guys are going to roll your eyes, and you're going to be like, oh my God, but this, that, and the other thing. I think the most exciting games for me was my Eagles-Patriots. I think it was. I think it was.
If you look on the league, you see the Chargers-Dolphins game, 36-34. That was back and forth the entire game. You can't really beat that.
Well, you're talking about Tua Tagovailoa. I told my friend coming into this week, I was like, fantasy quarterback, he's going to do dog. He's not going to do anything. And now you're looking at him, 28 for 45, 466 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
I just want to say, last week we did a little practice run of this episode. I did say that Tua would win this game. They gave me so much stuff. They gave me a lot of stuff for it. But
He's sitting on his high horse.
He balled out last night. I really like to see Tyreek Hill getting a chance too. I was afraid whenever he left Mahomes, but he's great, top receiver in the league.
And how about Brock Purdy? First game back from his injury, absolutely torched the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean the 49ers have so many weapons, and that's always been something that they just have. No matter what team they have, they always have weapons galore. And Kittle didn't even really get a lot of receptions. It was just CMC and Debo.
The thing is with the 49ers is I think they have a team that's a win-now team.
Oh, absolutely.
And they are just missing that quarterback element, and Mr. Irrelevant somehow comes out of nowhere.
Mr. Relevant now.
I mean, what did he go for this weekend?
He went absolutely insane. I know that.
I need to bring up his stats, but Brock Purdy is something to deal with now. Yeah, here we go. 19 out of 29, 220 yards, which is decent. It's fine.
And no picks
and 2 touchdowns, and he's clean. He didn't even throw an interception. For me, that's just impressive.
For me, it was just a CMC game. The Steelers could not stop CMC in any form of the ball.
I had him on my fantasy team.
I guarantee you were very happy. And the thing is, the Steelers, they've always been more of a defensive-minded team. We knew they would struggle coming in offensively, but I was not expecting them to lose the way that they did.
I mean, we're looking at this from a Steelers team. Kenny Pickett, 31 out of 46. 232 yards. He didn't do bad.
He started off the game rough.
He started off there, with the 2 interceptions. But we saw last night, Minnesota, when he played Kirk Cousins and Jalen Hurts. It was just a long ball fest.
Yeah.
I mean, first couple plays for Philadelphia, I think he went to
Devontae
Smith for 60 yards.
Bad jump
and then
ball,
Kirk Cousins throwing up to Addison for 60.
It's also a very sloppy game too. The start, fumbles, picks galore in that first quarter. Very sloppy start to that game last night as well. But let's get into the Cowboys game.
Oh,
I feel like we have
he's been
to
waiting
discuss
for
that.
this. He's been waiting.
40-0 is you can't not discuss that.
No, but it's against Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones, 15-28 for 104 yards and 2 interceptions.
Jones got absolutely paid in the offseason to be the franchise quarterback of the Giants, and then put together that performance in his first game. after getting
Him
that
and
money.
Burrow as well.
Him and
That's
Burrow.
concerning.
I think the Cowboys-Giants game is more of a testament to the Cowboys defense.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like, Dak Prescott, 13 out of 24, 143 yards.
Yeah.
No touchdowns. That's it. It's not like he was prevalent where he was sitting back there hucking the ball. I mean, like, people, like, try and argue that, like, Dak Prescott is something, which he is. He was really good coming out of college.
Absolutely.
That's why the Cowboys took him. But there's nothing that says wow about him. If there was something wow about him, why did they go get Trey Lance?
Yeah, absolutely. And he was
That's
definitely.
it's just like,
I mean,
the writing might be on the wall for Dak if he doesn't pull something out.
I mean, he's in the prime of his career right now. He has to really, he has like a year or two to really prove to the Cowboys that he is their quarterback of the future to lead them to even a Super Bowl. But that Trey Lance trade kind of put a question mark on that.
And I like that move by the Cowboys, though. Get a little fire under him. Make sure that, like, if you mess up, you're no longer safe here. Like, we have future here.
I think Jerry Jones is really, like, interested in, I wouldn't say igniting fires, but just putting a little pressure on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know when you're doing a push-up and the trainer, like, puts, like, a weight on your back, just, like, for the extra put. Like, I think Jerry Jones is just putting a little pressure on Dak, saying, hey, if you mess up, like, we're not going to be afraid to try something new.
Exactly.
And that happened to Zeke, too, with Pollard. And Zeke lost his spot, got released, and now Pollard's RB1 there, and he's doing really good there. So give it to him.
I mean, he had a decent game. I mean, it was definitely a prevalent run game because obviously the conditions.
Yeah.
A lot of games this weekend were about this condition.
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely.
East Coast games. There's a lot of rain over the East Coast.
It's the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so I have another question for you guys.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield in the Bucs last weekend
It didn't surprise me.
beating the Vikings.
Baker has been
That
underrated his entire career.
that kind of surprised me. He went 21 out of 34 for 173 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I mean, Baker on the Browns did really good that one season in
No
the playoffs.
No picks.
Baker's always been underrated. People think he's this horrible quarterback, one of the worst in the NFL. He's always been decent. He's never been horrible. I mean, he has his moments, obviously. Like, he had a really good game here.
moments, right?
But, I mean, a very impressive game against the Vikings.
I think what's the most impressive thing about Baker Mayfield right now for me is that his adaptability. Look,
Absolutely.
he went from the Browns to God knows where
Rams.
to the
It
Rams.
was
To the Rams.
Panthers to the Rams, yeah.
To the
I
Panthers.
forgot about the Panthers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew it was another team. But then he went to the Rams, right?
Yeah, he had that
And-
one really good game.
He had that one game. Did you see him loft that ball up?
Yeah.
To beat his first game. His first game as a Ram, he went out. I forget who he went out and beat. I think it was a Seahawks or something like that. And he threw this bomb in the back left.
He has an
He
absolute.
didn't even know the playbook.
Baker has an absolute arm on him. One of the strongest arms.
Sean McVay literally said in the postgame interview that Baker literally only looked at the playbook on the flight over.
Yeah. And I think that Baker Mayfield,
That's ridiculous. I can't even memorize half my college classes in 3 days, and he can look at it in a plane flight.
Baker's a smart guy.
He was taken first. He was taken first for a reason, and most of those people, people are really quick to put the bust label on players.
Yes.
I think that if you give someone a time or the right situation, they can blossom. And I think that with the receivers that they have in Tampa Bay, this could be a right situation for Baker to prove himself as that franchise quarterback that people were saying he would be.
I mean, people always joke, like Baker Mayfield has more, what is it, commercials than he does wins.
Yeah.
But I think that this, for the Bucs anyways, it's his starting job to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a really easy division with phenomenal receivers.
We're going to move on to this weekend's games where you have a hot slate coming at you this weekend. We're going to start with Jace's take on the Colts versus Texans. The Colts actually at a plus, I played 106 odds on FanDuel to win.
Plus one
and
half
Jace,
spread.
yeah, I know. And Jace is actually taking the Colts to win here at plus 100.
I am. Colts money line this weekend in Houston. I mean,
What do you think? What do you think? Well, what do you think the Colts have to do to win this weekend? You got 3 running backs who are basically all scrapping at each other for touches here.
The only threat of Houston is Dameon Pierce, at running back. And last week we shut down the running game the entire week against the Jaguars. They had to pass the ball. That's what beat us was their passing game. The Jaguars. If we can stop their main threat running back, there's no reason they can't win this game.
I mean, you got a rookie quarterback at the time.
Both teams do.
Both teams have a rookie. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan. I hate the Colts with every bone in my body. But Anthony Richardson did not play bad.
He played better than
Best
Stroud
rookie
and-
quarterback
He did
last
not.
weekend.
Best rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but we're talking about, this is going to surprise you, but hear me out. I think the Jags are going to give the Chiefs a run for their money.
I
this
think they
week.
win.
You think they win? Wow.
I'm not saying win, but I think it's going to be a great game.
I think it's going to be a great game.
That's probably going to be
That's my upset of the week. Jaguars, they have a really solid squad. I know they didn't
Calvin
show it against the
Ridley,
Colts last week.
Calvin Ridley, 117 yards, I think, and a touchdown.
I've been telling you
Travis Etienne. I'm a big fan of Travis Etienne.
Absolutely. They have a real squad there in Jacksonville. They can make a serious run to even make the Super Bowl this year,
Yeah,
I think.
I hate to say it, though. I mean, I have a roommate that's a massive Jags fan, so like sometimes I tend to hate on them a little bit more than I actually should.
Yeah.
The team is great, but they're also in the AFC, and the AFC is stacked this year. Yeah, so I think that they're going to need to stay healthy, and Trevor Lawrence is going to have to prove himself as that elite QB if they're going to have any chance, even making to the AFC Championship this year.
But they should run through the division realistically. Titans, Texans, Colts, there's no one that can stop the Jaguars.
Yeah,
really.
they win the division.
Absolutely.
Moving on. Just because you're a Jets fan, we're looking at the Jets-Cowboys game this weekend.
It's gonna be a blowout.
It's going to be a blowout.
I have a feeling Cowboys are going to win this by 10 plus.
Zach Wilson's going to throw 3 interceptions for 106 yards. What are your thoughts on it? It's going to be a really defensive game, though.
Absolutely.
It definitely will.
It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to come down. For me, I think, honestly, I take the Jets on this one by field goals.
To win.
By field goals. Yep, by field goals.
Over the Cowboys, the Cowboys
Dak didn't do
tore
anything.
apart the Giants last week.
But Dak didn't do anything.
And the Jets have a better defense and offense.
The Jets have a better defense, too. Did you see the way the Jets
This is
after?
also in Jerry World at A&T Stadium.
But did you see that pass rush of the Jets? Josh Allen couldn't even breathe.
Josh Allen is one of those quarterbacks that he has better weapons than Dak does, in my opinion, with Stephon Diggs. He has a better arm. He's normally a safer quarterback than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott struggles under pressure, and whenever you have someone like Jermaine Johnson, a Quinnen Williams, it's
talking
hard.
About turnovers and Allen had them tied most turnovers last season.
Yeah.
So Allen is a very sloppy quarterback when it comes to holding the ball.
When it also comes to his touchdown production, he's also been one of the highest. So it's hard to see him struggle that way.
But here's my thing. Here's my thing for this game. It's about a bounce back game for certain players. Dak had a really down week last week.
I mean, they're up by 20 early without him doing anything, so kind of just.
I know, but he hasn't been really tested. He sort of was on cruise control that past game. You got to be honest. Like, he was on cruise control.
No, he definitely was.
He was sitting back.
I think when it comes down to it, I think
helmet stand over there with his feet kicked up.
Dak has more than Zach Wilson when it comes down to it.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. I think that offensively the Cowboys have it, but defensively the Jets have a better team defensively. So I
agree.
I think that it will be down to who can score when it matters. Because even one
Whoever
touchdown
scores first, it will be
even
huge
one
too.
touchdown is going to be massive because this is going to be one of those games.
It's going to go back to one of those games where I think it was the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl, and literally the halftime score was literally 3-0.
Yeah.
It was a field goal.
I mean, there's going to be a lot. It's probably going to be a lot of penalties.
For me, I think it's first team to score. Yeah. Honestly.
It's going to be a lot of penalties, a lot of field goals, and probably one touchdown each team at most. I mean, these are two great defenses, and they both have really good run games, but they struggle throwing the ball against good cornerbacks, and I think that both teams have a phenomenal secondary. I think it's going to be very, very hard for either team to get going. But if one team does get going and gets that momentum, they win this game.
It's going to pose a problem, definitely.
Let's go to your Patriots, Sam.
I'm actually going there. I'm flying
in
out.
Foxborough?
Yep, Saturday night.
That'd be fun.
Yep, I'm going with my dad.
It's a big game, too.
So, yeah, exactly.
The Dolphins.
We got pretty decent seats, I think, too.
Nice,
I'm very excited about it. I'm wearing my back jersey with pride. I love how you laugh. How's your Aaron Rodgers doing?
He's doing fine.
He's doing great. Actually, shout out Aaron Rodgers. He posted some on Instagram. He's out of surgery. It went particularly well, so he's on the road recovery.
As much as we joke about it,
as much as I joke about Aaron Rodgers and his injury, we do wish him well, and we hope he's okay. Anyways, back to my Patriots, Miami, as you are laughing at me already. He's got a smile on his face.
I do too.
Oh yeah, you're funny.
I think
I got the Dolphins in this one.
I
don't think you can really really match up with the weapons of Miami.
Yeah,
I mean Tyreek Hill, 215 yards?
Jalen Waddle as
That's
well.
ridiculous.
You have Waddle on the other side as well. Two of the best receivers, if not the two best receivers in the NFL.
brand new Legion of Zoom over there in Miami.
Legion of Zoom.
Legion of Zoom.
It's a fun team to watch, and I just think we watched the Patriots struggle against the Eagles. They had a really good game.
Yeah.
But they still lost because they couldn't stop offensively. Even though Jalen Hurts struggled.
I mean, Jalen Hurts struggled.
But they still
we
couldn't
had a
stop.
chance, but you have to be honest. The New England had a chance
Oh, yeah.
to win.
They had the ball.
I actually thought they would win it.
They had the ball. And then, I don't know what happened.
Mac Jones does what Mac Jones does.
No, Mac Jones last week, you couldn't even say. He went, I don't know, like 29 out of 54, the most he's ever thrown, 311 yards, 3 times. He didn't play bad. He had 24 fantasy points.
But now against Ramsey this week too. You have Ramsey on the.
Oh, he's back?
He's back?
Is he playing?
I don't think he is.
He's not back
No,
yet.
he's not
I don't
back
know.
yet.
Okay, he's not back yet then. But still, when he comes back though, that'll be huge for the Dolphins. The Dolphins, I think,
Preferably after we play
they're going to overpower the Patriots defense. I think. In this,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
week.
yeah, the Patriots have a good defense. It's going to be good on. It's going to be a nail biter.
Let's go through our picks of the week.
The picks.
Yep,
the
picks across the week now.
All right.
Get our records
Here we
going.
go. We're gonna.
This is our official picks.
That's our official picks. Okay, so we're gonna go Ravens, Bengals. I have Joe Burrow on a bounce back game.
Bengals.
I got
yeah.
the Bengals.
Bengals bounce
Give me
back.
the Ravens.
No, give me the Ravens. He has to be. He has to be.
Someone had to be a little bit different. You know?
I'm going to
Exactly.
go Ravens here. I think that Lamar's going to go all up. He's going to go crazy all over them. So I think.
I'm disappointed at the use of Odell Beckham Jr.
I kind of
It
expected it.
didn't surprise me in any way.
Yeah.
First game back, just give him some time.
But at the same time, I mean, like you're looking at another receiver. Their other receiver,
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers had way more target share, way more production.
Which I
So
kind
the
of expected a
production
little
is
bit.
there. Do you think like in your guys' opinion, do you think like a bigger name carries more attention?
Yeah,
When-
Absolutely.
Especially with the Texans secondary, that's actually surprisingly good for a Houston team. They were focusing on Odell a lot more, and then it just was Zay Flowers just found
Zay
himself
Flowers
open
is
a
one
lot.
of the shiftiest receivers I've seen so far this
hard
year.
to cover.
He's an absolutely fast guy.
Colts Texans, we talked about a little bit. I'm gonna hop on the Colts train here.
Colts
As a
as well.
Patriots fan, that
Going Colts.
irks my soul.
Clean
But
sweep across the board.
I
Colts.
just think Anthony Richardson's just a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Or he looks
It'd be
like
a-
he spent more time sort of going over the play. I mean, C.J. Stroud, he looked good last week. 242 passing yards.
But you know how
28 out of 42.
OSU QBs are. So I just don't believe in the Texans.
Seahawks, Lions. Oh,
Give me the
and
Lions.
Here we go.
Give me the
Here we
Lions.
go.
I'm Give me the
He
Lions,
told us,
too.
He told us last week.
I'm a huge
Detroit.
Lions stan
Detroit's
this
going to
year.
beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Guess what happens? Beat the Chiefs. I'm going Lions here.
Lions as well.
That Goff just looked way too comfortable.
And the Seahawks looked bad
Way
against
too
a bad Rams team.
They
too.
will bounce back. Don't get me
Eventually,
wrong.
but not
against the
Lions.
Lions.
Not in Detroit's first home game with this team.
Yeah.
The crowd's going to go
They're
absolutely
going
insane
to
as
be
well.
nuts.
Bears, Bucks.
Bucks. Easy.
Yeah. Not even really thought.
Yep.
Moving on to the Chiefs
Chiefs,
Jaguars.
I got Jags. I have Jags. I really do.
I'm going
I really
Chiefs.
want to believe in this idea of Trevor Lawrence is good. Literally the first 2 years of Jacksonville.
I know.
He's bad. You know, like he's not living up to the hype. Look, they went out and got Christian Kirk from Arizona. They went out. They have Calvin Ridley now.
Yeah.
They have Evan Ingram coming over from the Giants. They draft Travis Etienne.
I think
Like,
this game
that is dangerous,
Yeah.
man.
This game all depends on how healthy the Chiefs are.
We're looking at Travis Kelce too. You gotta look at his.
I mean, him and
I
Jones
mean,
will both
what
be
do you
back
have,
this
the
week.
hyperextended knee?
Yeah.
So that's not something that you can just like
I'm-
wake up one morning and it's like,
Since-
yo, I'm better. Like, oh, that's cool.
I'm going to take the Jags because they are at home. That's my
I'm
main
taking
reason
the
here.
Chiefs. I believe that Mahomes has a bounce back game. He has his target now. They have their run stuff.
He has his safety blanket,
Yeah, he
guys.
has his little
Don't
safety
worry.
blanket,
He's got his
so-
blanket. He's gonna
He
cuddle
still
with
has
it at
Kadarius
night.
Toney, though.
Best,
Don't even get me started on Kadarius Toney. We had this talk about last week.
best quarterback in the league for a
Oh my
reason.
gosh.
I think the Chiefs take it out.
Okay.
Packers, Falcons.
Packers.
Give me Jordan Love.
Give me the Falcons.
Give me Jordan Love. Oh, Desmond Ritter. Okay. Right.
He just wants to be
Bijan
different.
Robinson's gonna
The
go
Bears
crazy.
are that bad, I think, that the Packers just are just.
Well, the
better than
Packers aren't good either, but I
The
just think
Packers
that
aren't
they.
good. I think the Falcons are. I mean, I think.
Well,
this
if you
week,
think about it, well, I mean,
Bijan Robinson's gonna go crazy this week. I think.
Bijan Robinson.
I think he's gonna have a really
we
good
got to
week.
talk about Ty Angler as well, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Algier.
Algier.
I mean,
Yeah,
either way you name it, he got 24 fantasy points
Yeah.
last week.
He's a
Cleaned up
beast.
in that backfield. That was nice.
They have one
I
of the
think
best
that home field
backfield.
advantage for Atlanta will get them that win this weekend.
They have the best backfield. One of the
Yeah,
best backfields in the league.
I believe that Christian Watson's playing this week.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
He's back.
He's back. Good news for the Packers, though.
Yeah. So Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Here you go. Okay, moving on. We have the Raiders, Bills.
Bills.
Okay,
I won't go Raiders this week.
They
I
will
won't go
not
Raiders this
lose
week.
again like that. There's no way.
Chargers, Titans. Got the Chargers here.
Chargers.
Chargers.
Well. I know some people want the Titans bounce
are
back.
horrendous this
But
year.
yeah, they have
I mean,
nothing
they
other
didn't
than
even
Derrick
get in
Henry.
the end zone
I mean, people were like saying like, oh, D-Hop. D-Hop doesn't matter if you can't get him the football.
He's older too. He's not where he used to be.
I still think he's a top 15 receiver,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
he can't do anything if you can't get him the football.
Yeah.
49ers, Rams.
49ers.
Give me the Niners. The defense is scary. That
The
offense
Niners
is scary.
historically struggle against the Rams, but I'm going to go San Fran.
Yeah, their team is
I
too
say
good.
San Fran in a close one. I say -7. I think the FanDuel odds
The
put out, like,
Rams-
-7 spread for Niners.
The
I'm gonna
Rams
take
are
that.
better than people think, though.
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
But without Cooper Kupp,
Yeah, still.
still. Giants, Cardinals. I'm taking the Giants.
Giants can bounce back.
Bounce back.
Giants,
for sure.
The
Giants.
Cardinals are horrendous.
Yeah.
I do not like their coach, Jonathan Gannon.
Horrendous. Jets, Cowboys. I got the Cowboys here.
the
I'm
boys.
sorry.
Cowboys, as
I'm
much as it hurts to
sorry.
say. Cowboys.
Sorry. Commanders, Broncos.
Broncos.
Commanders.
I mean, Commanders. My fault.
All right, we're looking at Jason and I were looking at
Actually, you know what?
Charles
I'm
over
going to go Broncos.
No,
Wow.
Commanders.
I think Russell Wilson's going to have a really
Russell
good week.
Wilson's
I
gonna
think
figure
Sean
it out.
Payton and co will figure it out.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Patriots.
Dolphins.
Patriots.
Got to do it.
For the bias.
Someone has to step up. You guys just betted again. Oh no, we were for the Colts, so you don't really count. But you weren't even supporting your own team. So
You know,
That's unfortunate.
When the Patriots
Hey,
win,
I'm not a fan. I'm an analysis.
When the Patriots win next week, this is video proof. Okay. If not, then that stinks. But
Fair
that's
enough.
all right. Saints Panthers on Monday night.
This is an interesting game because it's in Carolina.
I'm gonna take the Saints here.
I'm taking the
taking the
Saints.
Saints.
Bryce Young, not ready yet.
I'm on the
Saints
Derek Carr
defense
train.
is gonna tear 'em up.
Saints defense is gonna throw him for a loop. Especially he struggled last week when the coverage just shifted.
Oh, 100%.
1, 2, 3 times. It's really easy to confuse
Against the
a
Falcons,
rookie. Yeah.
too, of all teams. So
Yeah.
It's easy to confuse a rookie
Yeah.
quarterback on formations, line changes, blitz coverages, blitz change. Oh, just. And lastly, Browns Steelers. I got the Browns here. It's gonna be a really run heavy game.
They're gonna
I feel
massacre
really
Kenny
the
run-heavy
Browns are
game.
going to win this game by 20 plus.
They're gonna massacre Kenny Pickett. He's not gonna have any time.
Miles Garrett's going to go absolutely insane.
Yeah.
3+ sacks.
You see
maybe.
he
literally
doing the crossover and
Yeah.
he went and got Joe Burrow.
He's too good. He's
Miles Garrett
simply
is the
just
best
too
You
good.
player.
you always know that like when a player like starts messing around, and then,
Yeah.
like he's just in his zone. Well, guys, I think that covers everything in the NFL bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun games. Last weekend was fun to watch, even though it irked my soul. But what really irked my soul, this is Sam's 1 minute and 30 seconds of rage before our next segment. Jalen Hurts did not go over 200 yards. He got 193. That means I needed 7 yards, Jalen. So if you're watching this, could you just throw the ball to A.J. Brown one more time? Because we got a holding penalty, A.J. Brown touchdown, and then we got a pass interference call that wasn't called, A.J. Brown touchdown. You don't understand how frustrated I was because I was like, if he caught that, then he would have gone over his yards. But no, it's okay. Next weekend, more money to lose. Fun fact, fun. But anyways, we'll be back with these two for baseball here on Grand Slam Sports.
Welcome back to Grand Slam Sports. We just got done with football. We lost Sam, unfortunately, but we are now back talking about the MLB as they are wrapping up their season. Now, looking into it, we're about to get into the wild card race in just a few weeks, so I guess we should probably start with that. It's the most entertaining.
Absolutely. I mean, with only a few weeks left to go in the MLB season, the wild card really is heated up, especially in the NL side, because only 2 teams are really competing in the AL, Seattle and Toronto, but the NL has 3 teams tied for the last spot, with 1 team only a half game behind all 3 of them.
Oh, it's going to be fun to see the NL finish out. We can probably assume that the Phillies are going to come out. They've been on a little losing streak lately, so the
Yeah.
Phillies could drop it, if they struggle enough, but I don't see that
They're
happening.
still 4 games ahead of that 3rd spot. I don't see them losing.
the crowd is behind them.
And the Cubs as well. I mean, 2.5 games ahead of that last wild card spot. I think they can hold on to long enough to get in the wild card.
Absolutely.
But how about those 4 teams that are competing for it?
I'm personally, even though they're the farthest one down out of the 4, I'm saying Miami.
Miami.
I've been a fan of Miami since the start of this season. They have one of the best pitching rooms in all of baseball. They have an okay lineup. They've been struggling hitting the ball at some parts of the season, but this past month they've been great. Picking up Jake Berger to get a good DH. Josh Bell has been phenomenal. I'm really, really high on this team. I think that they're going to be great, and especially with Arizona, they're a young team.
Yeah.
So Arizona's going to struggle with that late push because they only really have Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. Once they get to their pitching staff and the bottom of it, it's a bunch of rookies that haven't been there before, and it's obvious. But they did do really well against the Cubs the last series.
See, to me, I think the team that's going to get that last wildcard spot is the Reds. I know they're a young squad, and they've been kind of here and there very inconsistent the last few weeks. But I think they are the best team of that 4 teams. I mean, the Giants could even be. I mean, they're currently sitting in that last spot. You do tiebreakers, and they have a really good squad, but they're an older squad. They might deteriorate as the season goes on.
That's the issue whenever you have teams like this is the Giants are significantly older than every other team.
Yeah.
And then you have Cincinnati and Arizona, which are significantly younger, which is why I'm big on Miami, because they got that mixture.
Yeah.
They got the Cy Young winner from last year, even though he's not playing too well. They still have Sandy Alcantara. They have Yuri Perez. They have Braxton Garrett, Jesus Luzardo. That rotation is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
And it's a good mixture between lefties and righties, which you don't see often either.
Over in the AL, I mean, it's a 2-team race, maybe even 3, you could say, because there's 3 teams competing for 2 spots: the Rangers, Mariners, and Blue Jays. But Toronto's a game and a half out of that last spot behind Seattle. Can they come back?
I mean, the thing is, Seattle struggled lately. Like they were on a fire, but lately they've just kind of been mediocre, and that's the way the Seattle team kind of is. It's not an amazing team. They have a good team, but they're not one of those teams that just wow you.
Yeah.
They look like a first-round exit to me. I'm sorry to say it to Seattle fans, but I do think that Toronto, the way that they've been playing before this sweep, were on fire. But the biggest thing for Toronto is, can they bounce back? If they can bounce back from getting swept, then I think they take it. But if they get all mopey and like, oh, we had a spot, we don't have it anymore, and then they just let themselves lose, it's Seattle's spot.
And there's still a really big race too. I mean, even 2 divisions still competing from the AL in the East and the West. Baltimore only a game ahead of the Rays, and they're playing a 3-game series starting today.
Yeah, the Rays is a team that it's unfortunate because they were so good to start the year. They have, in my opinion, the second best roster in baseball. But injuries after injuries after injuries, and we're going to get into that more later on.
Yeah.
But just the injuries, they cannot stay healthy, and they went from having arguably the best pitching staff in all of baseball to just it's not that good anymore. And it's hard to see that because I thought they would win their first ever championship this year. I really did.
They still can. They're still right there.
I don't know. I don't have the faith in their pitching staff to go a whole series.
They were a few games behind the Orioles for a while there, and they're not coming back. Beating the Orioles last night, and if they win tonight, they're tied with Baltimore for that first seed in the AL. So they still have a big chance at getting that home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
I mean, it's hard to say home field advantage as someone that's been to Tropicana many times.
Very true, very true.
It sucks because Florida just isn't a baseball sport. I mean, it's not a baseball state.
Yep.
Every single time you go to a Miami game, a Tampa game, you just see it's dead, despite these teams being the best they've been in almost a decade.
Both of them.
So but the thing is, Tampa, they have the roster to compete. Their lineup is phenomenal, 1 through 9. Every one of them can hit the ball. It's just, can their pitching go deep into a series like Houston or a team like the Orioles or Texas? Can they actually beat them with their pitching? I don't know if they can.
And what about the race for the AL West division? Houston currently leading that, Texas a half game behind, and Seattle only a game and a half behind. It's really anybody's division.
I'm taking Houston in this.
You think Houston will still win this?
I think that Houston is the best team. They're also the healthiest team. And when it comes down to the end of the season, health is important. It's the most important thing in my opinion. Texas just lost Max Scherzer for the rest of the season. And, Houston, they're Houston. Their team has always been phenomenal. They have the best outfield in baseball.
As a Yankee fan, I'm not a huge Astros guy. Probably my least favorite team of any baseball team.
I did not like them in 2017 for obvious reasons. We won't even get into that.
Yeah.
But now that most of that team is gone and they've picked up new players like Jordan.
They still have Altuve, though.
I love Altuve, though.
You really
I am an
like
Altuve. He's the best playoff performer of all time, in my opinion.
I have a severe dislike towards Altuve for obvious reasons. As a Yankees fan, that home run to walk off the ALCS a few years ago was very painful.
And I love their pitching staff. Framber Valdez, he's amazing. He's so good, and he's almost impossible to hit. Christian Javier, even though he's been struggling, is a phenomenal pitcher. So I don't know. I don't think any team beats the Astros in general, but especially in that division.
So do you have them winning the AL in general?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Is there any team that you could see taking a few games off of them?
Tampa. Tampa, they hit very well, and Houston's backbone is how good their pitching is, and especially against lefties, Tampa is phenomenal against lefties. So when they go against Framber Valdez, I think Tampa is going to have a much better game than you would probably expect out of a Framber Valdez start.
So you're envisioning a Rays and Astros ALCS?
That if that lines up that way, yeah, I think so.
Looking over the NL, I don't know if anyone can compete with the Braves.
Yeah.
They are 96-50. Far and ahead of the Dodgers by like 8-9 games. They are the best team in baseball.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could. I think that the Dodgers knock off a few games. I actually think that series will be phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Literally, like last week. You have the 2 MVPs, actually the 4 MVP candidates on 2
Honestly,
teams.
Yeah.
It's fun. That series is going to be fun, and I really do hope that they come out and they play each other in LCS, so we can see that. Because even though the Dodgers are missing a lot of pieces with Walker Buehler and Julio Urias being out, I think that, like I said, the Braves, they struggle against lefties, and Clayton Kershaw is going to give them a hard time.
So obviously the Braves and Dodgers are the 2 best teams in the NL, but do you see any other team making it out and making it run the playoffs? Phillies, like they did last year?
They're hot. They have the best home court or field advantage in all of baseball.
100%.
I mean, I've never been to Philly before, but I don't like Philadelphia. If you ask anyone, I hate Philadelphia as a sports city. As a Celtics fan, I hate the Sixers. It's just, I don't like Philadelphia, but I love watching what they do on the baseball field. They are so fun. They support their players. They're not like some fan bases, like the Yankees, that will absolutely massacre their players if they have a bad week. I mean,
I'm
they
not
will.
one of those. I'm not one of those. I'm more nice to them in general, but
they will massacre their players. Trust me, I've seen it.
Oh yeah.
But you know, they also lift up.
Which is surprising considering the Eagles fans and what they do to players sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Don't get me started on the Eagles fans. But I want to move on and talk a little bit about the top 100 prospects. Now, looking into this season, we normally do not see the amount of top prospects called up to the league that we've seen this year. There's been so many. So I wanted to ask you who you kind of think is been the best and also been the most disappointing.
So we can talk a little bit about Josh Jung of the Rangers. He's been great all year.
Oh, goodness.
Even De La Cruz, the Reds, he got called up at one point in the season, just came on the scene out of nowhere and went absolutely insane. He's been kind of here and there recently, but he's still a big asset to the Reds.
Ellie De La Cruz, he came up, and I thought he was like the next big thing for the Reds. I still have that feeling.
He still can be.
It's just it's hard because a player like him and O'Neal Cruz, who we just kind of forgot about because he's been hurt all year. They are so rare to where whenever we see them struggle, we're like, oh my goodness. But whenever they're at their best, they are some of the best players in the league. Some other names I want to talk about, of course, Corbin Carroll, MVP candidate as a rookie, is something we have not seen in forever. I mean, that is
really gave that boost to the D-backs, and now they're a playoff squad almost.
Exactly.
They're right there in the mix, making playoffs, and they haven't been there for a while.
Him and Gallen, they've clicked, and they have been some of the best young players. Patrick Bailey over in San Fran, in my opinion, top 5 defensive catcher in all of baseball. Going on to the pitching, Bryce Miller and Brian Wu on Seattle. Both of them have found their groove in the league, and I think that they are going to be good pitchers alongside Luis Castillo and Robbie Ray and George Kirby and Logan Gerber.
And they've given Seattle that boost. They started out rough this season. They came onto the scene, and now they're right in the mix, a game and a half ahead of the Blue Jays to make that playoffs.
Yeah, arguably, they're a fun team to watch. I love their pitching. I think they have a deep pitching room, and I think it's going to be fun. Going on to disappointment,
Henry Davis.
Been a mixture of injuries for Davis and Endy Rodriguez.
I went and saw him the other day at the Indians game, hit a home run. First inning, they lost. I think it was like 14-3 or something in the end. But, I mean, he's been pretty good with the Indians, but when he goes to the Pirates, he just can't really, he has no production.
The issue with Henry Davis is, and he's not even a bad catcher, it's just that you look at him as he was the first overall pick.
Yeah.
So no matter what he does, we're going to be looking at him a lot more critical than we probably should be.
Absolutely.
So I think that, he's got the expectations, but I think he can live up to them if he can stay healthy. Another disappointment for me was, as a Nationals team, you are arguably the worst team in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're up there.
Only a few years after winning the World Series.
Exactly. And you're expected to, your prospect room is expected to be great after you suck. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And they have not been. The Nationals have called up multiple prospects, and I cannot think of one that has actually been memorable. I mean, Jake Irvin, he's been okay, but other than that, I can't think of anyone that's actually done anything.
Yeah.
Looking at injuries this season, Mad Max was just announced out for the season last night, and that kind of gets me on the topic. Like, injuries are really killing some of these good teams' momentum. What do you think as a team you have to do when you lose your top guys?
I mean, it's really tough when you lose a top guy. I mean, you might have to call up some prospects and hope they have some production in them. If not, then your season could be lost. I mean, we've seen like the Yankees this year, they lost Judge, and they had no production come out of that when he was out. And their season was lost right then and there when Judge was out for, 30 games.
Yeah, it sucks to see for the Rangers because, I mean, Mad Max isn't like the end of the world for them, but they also lost DeGrom. Like, I kind of forgot they even signed him, but he was like the biggest free agent signing.
Scherzer and DeGrom, I mean, two of the, historically best pitchers in baseball, and both of them now done.
Now leading with ace Nathan Eovaldi. I like him. I'm high on him.
Good,
But, I mean, there's only so much you can really do, but their hitting is good enough to I think they can push them through, but I don't think they win it anymore like I did before. But also looking at the Rays, they've been arguably one of the biggest hits. Shane McClanahan out for the year. he is and was a Cy Young candidate, and now he's not there anymore, unfortunately. So I think it goes to Garrett Cole now, but it sucks to say. I know you're a Yankees fan.
Even though
it's
we're not
Garrett
in the playoff
Cole's.
squad. I mean, we aren't done yet. Only 7.5 games out of the wild card.
They're not making it.
They're not making it. I mean, they have some easy matches, some easy games coming up here, so maybe they can make a run, but very doubtful still.
All right, and we're at the end of the season. We're at that point where we can start looking at the best breakout players of the year, and also some of the most disappointing ones. I picked one from the AL and the NL for both sides of it. I want to talk about the AL first.
Yeah.
First off, disappointment. I'm going with Tim Anderson. I mean, as a White Sox fan, he had me curling up on a ball and crying myself to sleep every night. Tim Anderson went from being an all-star, one of the most consistent hitters in the league, to getting knocked out and one home run in like 3-4 months. Almost a year, was it? It was a long period of time.
And the Sox were supposed to be one of the best teams in the AL this year, and they just really fell apart from the beginning. They lost that first series to the Astros, and they just never recovered, really.
It's management and also just a lack of just the will. They don't care. It's a team full of young players that we think they would be good, but they just haven't lived up to it. And I'm very happy to see Luis Robert popping off the way he is. I think that he's one of the best center fielders in all of baseball now, but it's hard to see the rest of the team just not care. So yeah, TA is my disappointment of the year. What are you thinking?
I'm not really too sure about disappointments. I mean, you could really throw a few names out there from the Yankees and really be correct.
Yeah.
There's a few Yankees players out there that really just didn't have the best year stat-wise, but
yeah, I mean, looking at specifically, I had one from the Yankees actually. Luis Severino came in this year as arguably, I think he could have been an ace for almost any team but the Yankees, and now he is barely getting any. He's been under Clark Schmidt for most of the year, and it's just disappointing.
Not ideal.
But Clark Schmidt, I mean,
Schmidt's not bad, but being behind him, as you know, your name being Luis Severino was supposed to be one of the best pitchers in the MLB this year, and just didn't have the production to show for it.
And on top of the breakout players, I had one massive breakout player from the AL, and it's Isaac Paredes. I think that he has been phenomenal for this Rays team. I mean, he's one of the best third basemen in baseball now. He plays great defensively, and he's a good hitter. And the Rays tend to just
pull some players out of nowhere, and they'll just produce every year in, year out for Tampa.
And Paredes I remember he was a trade that went under the radar coming from Detroit. Yeah. I remember whenever Austin Meadows got traded, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, Austin Meadows, we loved him so much in Tampa, and then he's just done nothing in Detroit, and Isaac has been one of the best third basemen.
Tends to happen when you go to Detroit. The Tigers, they just have nothing going on. I mean, when the Tigers have something right, go for them.
It's hard. The pitching staff was so good this year, and then Lorenzen left in and threw a no-hitter his first game gone. Tariq Skubal cannot stay healthy to save his life, and so Eduardo Rodriguez is good though. So they have a good pitching staff, but they have a lot more to work on.
Yep.
Looking on the NL, their best players for breakout this season, I have Justin Steele, who currently right now is #1 in all of Cy Young for the Cubs. One of the best. It's been a lefty battle between him and Snell at the top of the Cy Young category. I think that Steele, I mean, I'm pretty sure he has the highest ERA, or the lowest ERA in all of the NL. Or him or Snell.
Even then, Strider's right there with the Braves, too. He's been great all year with Atlanta. He's been a bit bumpy the last few starts, but still right up there with Steele and the other names that you mentioned.
When you can throw a historic amount of strikeouts like Strider can, you're always going to be at the top of Cy Young. He's going to be there for most likely the rest of his career.
100%.
He is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Looking on the position players, Hong-Sung Kim, he's been phenomenal for the Padres. One of the best, arguably, the best second baseman in all of baseball, maybe behind Altuve. But his defense, he was supposed to be a shortstop this year. It was between Tatis, Bogarts, and Kim. And they moved him to second base because Bogarts got the shortstop spot. So a lot of people were kind of wondering what he's going to do. And he has now been arguably the best player on this Padres team. It's shocking.
And which is like, I mean, as a San Diego fan, that's got to be horrible. You have all these big name players that are supposed to be really good: Juan Soto, Bogarts, Tatis, and they just had nothing going the entire year. They're out of the playoff picture now, and they just, I don't know.
Who would have thought that the hitting on this team would be the problem?
They have some of the best hitting players in MLB, and I mean, they have one of the best rosters.
I would have bet money that it would have been the pitching that struggled, because Machado, Soto, Tatis. I'm forgetting one.
There's that name.
The Bogarts. Yes. Their hitting is phenomenal, and they just weren't there. And I don't know what happened. I don't even know what's next for the Padres. I think, honestly, don't panic. Keep your team. Don't go selling everyone, and just try again next year.
They have the pieces. They just need to restart next year fresh.
I don't think they need to make a bunch of moves.
No, because they have the money to now with all that payment. I mean, they're paying these players loads of money. I mean, what was like the second or third highest payroll in MLB?
Yeah, I mean, Machado and Tatis themselves are making some. Honestly, their core four is making more money than some teams' entire payroll.
Like the Rays, even the Rays, they have one of the lowest payrolls, and they are phenomenal.
Yeah, so, I mean, money does not win championships. I've been saying that since day one, but I think it's also important that the Padres don't panic, don't go selling everyone. Your team is still great roster-wise. Just build pieces around them. Maybe get rid of like 1 star because you don't need 4 stars. It kind of has a little ego battle in the locker room. But the team's going to be good. And to finish things off with disappointments, there's not a lot of disappointing NL players on the top of my head, but like Chris Bryant was the first one that came to mind. The Rockies paid him a fortune, and he's just been okay.
I don't know, as Chris Bryant, why would you go to the Rockies, a team that historically is not anything special? You know, the Cubs had a really good squad there, went over to the Giants with a really good squad there, and then you go to the Rockies?
That didn't make much sense to me either.
It didn't. To me, I just don't understand why Chris Bryant would go to the Rockies instead of somewhere that, I mean, other teams could have paid him that same amount of money, and he could be on a contender.
Yeah.
But he went to the Rockies, who historically aren't a contender.
Yeah, no. He definitely fumbled his bag there, and he's probably going to be there for the rest of his career and just not doing much. But as someone from Illinois, thank you, Chris Bryant, for what you did for our state. So I wish the best for you. But that's going to be all that we're going to be talking about today for baseball. And in just a few minutes after we get back from break, we're going to go over soccer with the UCL coming up this week.
We're going to get Sam back up here, too.
Yes, sir, and so much more coming soon.
Welcome back to Grand Slam Sports, our last section of the evening, and we're going to be going over some soccer games. I know we all big soccer fans, and we have some. And the international break's now ended. The Premier League coming back this week. We have some big games going on.
It's great.
Some
It's
great
fantastic.
games in the Premier League this week. Wolves, Liverpool. Let's start there.
Liverpool's midfield troubles, I mean, were solved last week, or the last outing. Liverpool won 3-0 against Aston Villa. But, like, they just don't have that. But they brought in a new number 6, sorry. I'm, like, thinking about football numbers. Now we're coming back to they brought in a couple of new midfielders. I mean, like, you're talking about Dominic Schlebschlei, you're talking about McAllister. Endo. Endo's going to be a prove-it year for Endo.
Yeah.
He balled out in Stuttgart. Great player.
Yeah.
Really smart. I like smart players in soccer. Really smart guy. We're going to see if he can keep up with the Liverpool pace, I guess. I have Liverpool winning this game.
At the Molyneux, it can be a difficult bet. That's a tough place to play at the Molyneux Stadium.
I still think
I have Liverpool coming out on top. The Wolves have been struggling these past few games, and I think that, sometimes there's a game where you just kind of look at it like, maybe he can draw. I'm not really seeing it in this game. I see Liverpool winning this one.
Moving over to more of a mid-table game, but two pretty good teams here, Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. I know you're a big Palace fan.
Yeah, so we're Palace fans here. We're Palace fans here.
Palace is my second team, but I think Villa is the better team.
No.
Look at their manager and their team they have put together.
But look at a more impressive win. Palace beat out Wolves 3-2. Exciting game. We pulled it out.
Villa's squad looks a lot better than Palace. And they're at home. I think Villa's the better team here.
Villa definitely has the better chance to win it. I think their roster's better, and they are playing at home, like you said.
And they have a really good manager too.
And Crystal Palace, though, they've been playing surprisingly good. Now, normally what they struggle with is goal scoring.
Yeah.
It's often a defensive game with them. But last week, 3 goals, or 2 weeks ago, and I think that the team, if they can get out to a good start, get enough touches in their backfield, and also just enough opportunities. That's the biggest name of the game for this team. Without Zaha, they struggle to get opportunities sometimes. It's normally up to Eze or Olise, and I think that if this team cannot get those goal-scoring opportunities, they won't get anything
Looking over to maybe the biggest game of the week in the Premier League, Brighton and Man United.
I got Brighton here. I have Brighton here. Man United struggles are going to continue.
Into Old Trafford and win?
I think Man United's struggles are going to continue.
Man United.
They're not the same team as last year.
I think at Old Trafford,
I say 1-1 draw.
There's been a lot of news around Man United in the news recently. Anthony, Sancho, a lot of winger news with things going on.
I mean, Brighton's in form too. I mean, look, they're sitting
Brighton is in form. They're one of the best teams in the
Premier
League.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Brighton goes into Man United or to Old Trafford. I think they either draw or Brighton wins. I say 1-1 draw.
I'm taking 2-1 United. Even though I'm a City fan, I don't think Brighton can keep up with the form they're in.
Nah.
I'm going draw on this one personally as well. I think that the best chance out of the two will be Brighton, but I think it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a good game though.
Looking over to my team, they're traveling to West Ham and Man City.
Nah, we don't even have to. Why are we even talking about this? Holland's just going to run through everybody and toe poke something in there.
Well, West Ham is at the top of the table right now, so I mean they've been doing great. I think that
are they going to be able to stop them though?
I think it's going to be a Man City win.
Holland here.
It's going to be a Man City win, but I do think that West Ham
will put up more than a fight that people say. The win probability of Manchester City is 65%.
That isn't too much considering.
That's more than half. What are you talking about?
I know, but like I just.
Okay, would you like those odds? Like if someone was like, hey,
Oh, yeah,
here's a
100%.
lottery ticket, you have a 65% chance to win.
100%. I thought it'd be more, honestly.
I think that Man City does win this game, and I don't think it's
They
going to be
should.
much of a
We're
competition.
4-0 so far.
But I
I don't
still
see
think
why.
watch this game and watch how West Ham plays against this team.
Yes.
Don't watch to see if they win. Just watch to see how they play because this team has a realistic chance of making it to one of the European stages.
Because, I mean, West Ham last year, they won the Conference League. They sold Rice off for a lot of money. They signed some Ajax boys, and Mohamed Kudus is really good.
I like Kudus. Yes, he's
So,
very.
I mean,
he can play the cam. He can play attack center
West
man. He can play a wingers.
They're building
he
a
can play
real
strike.
squad there. at
Quietly,
West
too.
Ham.
They're not one of
Very
those teams
quietly.
you see in the standings.
Not
so
quietly. I
often.
mean, they're fourth in the Premier League right now.
Yeah.
They're right up there, and they're in the Europa League this year. They can make some noise there, too.
Absolutely. I think that West Ham will surprise people. I don't think they beat Man City, but I think just watch them and see how they
Yeah.
do and see what they do.
Looking over to a lower table matchup, Bournemouth and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea's having an absolute howler of a year once again.
But we
Looking
were
like
really
this.
surprised by that. Todd Bowley decides to throw a couple more $1 million at
couple
somebody.
more,
Couple
like
hundred
couple
more.
million
Imagine
dollars.
signing your life away to Chelsea for 7 years, like Mudryk and Calcedo did, just to have Calcedo absolutely poop his pants on his debut.
All those Brighton players that moved to like Chelsea, they never do anything special.
I feel like Brighton is just like laughing right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brighton-
They
We
made a
know how
lot
to
of
use
money.
them. You don't know how
Yeah.
to use them.
They made a
Brighton's
lot of
having
money.
the time of their lives
Oh,
right
that's
now,
great.
and they're so good too. Brighton is the thing. They pull random players. Out
I
of
think
nowhere.
Chelsea sees this through. I think Chelsea's gonna have a turnaround.
I think
just
it's gonna
because
be
Chelsea just has the better individual players.
I think
If
it's
we're
gonna be
gonna
a
look
1-1.
at it,
It's gonna be a 1-1 draw. Bournemouth isn't that bad.
I'm saying Chelsea here. As much as we want to be Chelsea haters, you got to give them this one. I think they win this one.
And the other top team here, Arsenal, they're traveling to Everton in Merseyside.
Merseyside. It's got to be Arsenal. I can't.
I mean,
there's no
I
other way around
They're
it.
in
I
form
mean,
right now too. I think
this is the year that Everton gets relegated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everton last
they've been
year.
surviving.
Everton last year was
Last 2
fighting.
years. Last
The
2
year
years
before that, they were fighting.
They were hanging on by a
Who was that
thread.
with? Wayne Rooney? Wayne Rooney
Yeah.
as a manager a couple years ago? I don't
think
even
so.
know. They've been in the mud for so long, but
They've
we're
been
gonna
in
see.
officially,
We're
you
gonna
would
see.
think. I think Arsenal wins this one easily, 3-0. In
Yeah.
my opinion, it shouldn't be
I
anything
see-
difficult.
I see it
Yeah.
happen.
Now to the two biggest games of the weekend, probably starting in the Bundesliga with Sam's team Bayern Munich playing Bayer Leverkusen in the battle of two teams who haven't lost yet in the Bundesliga. What you got?
You know what I'm gonna say? De Ligt and Kim Min-jae, best center back duo in all of Europe.
Really?
You heard it. Yep, you heard it here, right here.
Over like
right
City level
here.
with like Diaz and
no,
Stones? Come
Diaz
on.
and Stone's not even a center
I
back
can see
anymore.
CDM, but you can also account for Akanji or Ake or even Vardiol now.
You're trying to tell me that the back line of Bayern Munich with Alphonso
Kim
Davies?
and Jay is not better than Vardiol. Vardiol over Kim and Jay any day of the week.
No. He watches Serie A. He knows how good Kim and Jay.
Yeah, I do know
He
about
can't
Kim
even
and Jay.
lie.
I didn't even go.
He can't even
Back
lie.
in Napoli.
In the long term,
Okay, regardless of this conversation, I'm taking my Bayern. I think
Okay.
Bayern 3-1, 3-2, 3-2. So it's going to be close. I mean, what
you had your usual struggle against Gladbach a few weeks ago.
Xabi Alonso is doing in Leverkusen. I love it. I
think
love
he's gonna
Xabi
next-
Alonso.
I think
I
he's
love
the
him
next
as a
Robert
player. I
Lewandowski.
love him as a coach.
Yeah.
But I just think Bayern just have too many weapons.
I'm taking Bayern 2-1, but I think it's going to be a great
don't
game.
want to, but I'm going to take Bayern by a score of 2-0.
Good choice. Good man.
The other big game, this is two of our favorite teams here, Inter Milan and AC Milan.
Oof, I'm staying out of this one. This is not my question.
These games tomorrow. This is going to be an absolute great game. Two teams that haven't lost in the Serie A so far. Top of the table matchup in the Milan derby at the San Siro.
It's going to be a good one, especially with Lautaro Martinez. I mean, he's been doing great. I mean, I think 5 goals in 3 games. He's been absolutely in form. Inter has been borderline perfect while playing this season. I think that they're going to struggle against Milan. This is the hardest team they've played by far. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that it's going to be a very good game. I'm probably going to predict a draw for this one.
I'm saying draw as well, although I do want AC
pick a
Milan
side.
because I do love my boys in AC Milan and Pulisic and Yunus Musa.
What's different about Inter Milan is they play a back three.
Yes.
They play a back three and they stick to it. It's not one of those teams where hey, we're playing someone to this week. We need to clog the midfield. Let's go to a back three. No, they play a back three and they hold there.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm going to take Inter Milan actually to 1-0.
All right. I like to hear that as an
Rafael Leao is really
I'm gonna
dangerous,
go with
but he's just one guy.
I'm going to go with the 2-2 absolute great game.
2-2.
Yeah, I'm going with the draw as well, 2-2. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. We're going to be watching that one together, actually.
Yes,
so
tomorrow
it
it'll
should
be
be
an
a fun
absolute
one.
great time. Let's go AC Milan.
Go Inter.
No,
And then
I'm
looking
staying out of this.
Towards
Just here.
in about a week now, the UCL gets underway. I'm going to name off 4 of the biggest matchups, and we'll kind of go over them. AC Milan, once again in action. They play Newcastle, and that'll be the return of
Newcastle. I have Newcastle winning this game.
Tonali going
I
back.
have Newcastle winning this game. I know Charles is making a face. I don't care.
Tonali's going back to AC
Newcastle's
Milan in his
on-
first game in the Champions League. That'll be interesting to see the reaction of the AC Milan crowd when he walks on the pitch.
I think Tonali never wanted to leave.
He didn't want to leave. He was forced out.
So I mean, I think the fans are gonna receive him as
I
one of
think
their own still. I mean, if he came out in the press and be like, I want to leave, this team sucks, then like everyone would boo him. But like you were saying,
Newcastle's been iffy in the Prem. I just don't see how they can go into the San Siro and pull off a win.
but we also got to look at the Premier League. They've only played 4 games.
And they've looked shaky.
Out of what, 72, 64?
And this is their first UCL game in what, years?
Yeah.
And going into the San Siro, one of the most difficult
if you think about it, I mean, like, are they not going to be motivated? Charles, would you not be motivated? This is your first UCL
Oh, absolutely.
game.
They're going to come out firing, but I just don't think that they have the. Honestly, even if it just goes pure talent to talent, AC Milan at home as well, it's almost impossible to come in there and beat them, and come in there and beat them in a UCL as well. I mean, they're hot coming in from last year. They're hot in Serie A right now. They are the team to beat in that.
And that game is part of one group, and the other 2 teams in that group also play. Obviously, PSG and Dortmund. That group's an absolute great group.
Group of death.
That'll be a great game. This one at PSG, but Borussia Dortmund. What do you guys see in that one?
PSG scaled back, but I think Mbappe gets it done. I think
PSG.
2-0, maybe 1-0 if it's close.
Dortmund
just doesn't have any attacking options.
They
I mean,
don't.
look, you have an aging Marco Reus. What is he, like
33.
33,
I
yeah.
think.
I mean, like, you don't have you're lost Sterling Haaland. You have Haller and Daniel
It's not a bad
Malen.
squad still.
I like Adeyemi on the side. Believe me, I like Adeyemi, but I just PSG with that back line of Hakimi, Marquinhos, Kimpembe,
I'm going to
Donnarumma. I mean, Nuno Mendes at the left back. It's just
They're still extremely talented despite
still
losing a lot of
extremely
people.
talented. I mean, you still have Mbappe.
They built
so-
that front
Mbappe,
three after Messi and Neymar leaving, so I think they win this one 2-0.
I want to watch that one though. I'm excited to see how that game goes.
Mbappe, Dembele duo.
The next
Watch
game,
it.
once again introduce Sam's team, Bayern Munich. They will host Manchester United.
Hold on,
This
wait,
is gonna
guys.
hit the most. What do you got? What do you got?
Hold on. I'm looking for a broom because
A
we're gonna
broom.
absolutely
A broom.
sweep United. This is not even gonna be a contest.
This is I hate these.
Might
I
as
hate these two teams.
well like sign a contract that says we can score because we have Harry Kane, Sane, Gnabry,
Just let him
Coman. Yeah, it's just go ahead, sign it, Man
You
United
got anything
fans.
more to say?
Right here.
I didn't even go analyze this one. You got this one. We're gonna give you your rant time.
Thank you. It's
Yeah,
great.
Bayern comes out.
Bayern wins this one by 4.
By 4.
I'm
It's
gonna
gonna
say
be a
by 4.
massacre.
Well, okay, I know. I say 2-0.
I'm saying 2. I say 2-0,
I don't
maybe
think Bayern,
3.
I think Bayern's going to come out full head of steam for the first half, and if we go up 1-2, I think he's going to start subbing people on, giving people rest. Because I mean, we're talking about you. The thing is with European soccer that's different from American football is that you can play 2-3 games a week.
Yeah, it's busy. It gets really busy really quick.
Injuries rack up, stuff like that. I think we start with the center back combo of Upamecano or Kim and Jay.
Especially once you get to
Rest a
domestic
lick,
and continental.
You got to rotate it. And Thomas Tuchel is not a. He's not new to this. This is not his first year. He knows how this goes.
Yeah. And then kind of my underrated game of the week, but still the 2 best teams in this group, Lazio and Atletico Madrid. Should be a good one there in Lazio.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm picking Atletico Madrid
That's
to
a tough game to
win, but Lazio, they are good.
Lazio is
They're
so underrated.
very good. And I feel like
Thierry
no one,
Mobile is still there,
Yeah.
still holding strong.
One of my
like
favorite
big star
strikers
that
in
one
Italy.
year. How can he score? He's immobile. But he's still scoring. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I have Atletico 1-0. I think Griezmann's
I think it'll be defensive as
Griezmann,
well.
Thomas Lamar. I mean,
Memphis Depay.
Yannick Carrasco left. Oh my gosh, why am I thinking Yannick Carrasco? Wait, isn't he back?
Didn't Griezmann leave too?
Griezmann's back.
No, Griezmann's
Yannick-
still here.
Is he still there?
I think so.
Yeah.
I went to Barca.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he went back to.
okay.
Barca
Gotcha.
said he didn't want him anymore. It was like having a Felipe Coutinho. And now guess what? Felipe
I think it was
Coutinho's
João
loaned
Felix
out
that you're
to-
thinking about. João Felix.
What's João
That's
Felix?
right.
Oh,
I'm
that's right,
thinking
yeah.
about João. That's my bad.
Yeah,
That's it.
Griezmann's back at.
I'm a massive fan
I
of
was thinking about João
Atletico.
Felix, that's my bad.
I think that
Similar
they're
players.
Similar. Barcelona just buys people for fun, and then they're like, "No, we don't want your toys
Yeah.
anymore." Get your back.
I don't want to play with you
You
anymore.
know, yeah, exactly. It's like that one. What movie?
Toy Story.
The
Yeah.
Toy Story scene. Like, we don't want to play with you anymore.
I think that Atletico comes out and wins this one for sure, but I do think it's going to be a really good game. Lazio, they were second in Serie A, third. second or third in
I
Serie A.
think they were
up there.
I think they were fourth last year due to the Juventus point deduction. It was close in the Serie A last year. It may have been. Actually, no, it was AC Milan who got bumped up. It was Lazio in third, I'm pretty sure.
Huh. Either way, that team played great last year.
Either way.
No, they were second last year.
Oh, they were?
Yes, they were second. They were 16 points behind Napoli, but they were still second.
Okay.
So I think that they are going to surprise some people, definitely. And I think that it's going to be a great game, but I still, Atletico.
And then we'll go into your team, too. They play in Spain against Real Sociedad. What do you think about that?
Oh, no, why are we even talking about this?
Let's get all the teams involved here. That's still a tough game.
Real Sociedad, great team. Ajobo, we're looking at David Silva actually retired a couple months ago.
Yeah,
they were still dangerous. Yeah, he had the injury. We wish him well, obviously. I mean, like, he's going to be living well, obviously.
Yeah.
Like most of these soccer
Man
players
City legend.
But
that guy.
I have Inter Milan having no problems going to Real. I mean, I'm looking at 3-1, 2-1 victory.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a harder game than if they were playing at San Siro, but it's a win for them.
And then should we even
No, we don't. I don't know.
They play Cervina's Zvezda. That should be 5.
Don't even talk about the Man
that's
City
all
game.
right.
That game is
UEFA rigged it. UEFA rigged it. You heard it live from me. UEFA rigged it.
what?
Man City having a terrible group. Yeah, that's
You can
okay.
say whatever you want to say. We still won it last year.
Oh yeah. How many do you have? I can't even count how many Champions Leagues I have. Yeah.
I'm out of this.
Yourself.
I'm out of this.
Hey, you have a few, don't you? I mean, Inter has some.
I have a few. Lost last year to y'all.
Looking over to some news around the soccer, though, there's been a debate going on with the U.S. men's national team.
Surprisingly
Pepe
heated
versus
one.
Balogun. Who's the better
Pepe.
starting
Pepe
nine?
does. Pepe.
You think Pepe over Balogun?
I say Pepe as well.
You got to see who's in form as well. I mean, it's so hard in soccer environments to catch people in form, but also keep them in form.
Especially internationally.
But even, I mean, Pepe isn't
You gotta
playing
play
much.
with a hot hand here, though. It's like that hand warmer. When one hand warmer gets cold, you have to take out the other one.
Exactly.
And it's just, it's who's there, who's scoring the goals, who's.
But look at Pepe's thing going on in PSV. He's not playing much. He's not getting much game action.
He's been
That could be a
second
real
string.
struggle.
Yeah. I think
He's still
that,
behind Luke de Jong. That's really a problem.
I think that it's an interesting thing because the USA have a chance to, like you said, play the hot hand. They can pick whichever one they feel like is doing better. And I feel like right now Pepe is the hot hand. Start him. But if he starts to struggle a little bit, you got another option, and that's never something that you can
think
complain about.
Balogun's the better option here. I think he's the better player overall. He's going to Monaco now, so we'll see how he does with Monaco.
I think America has a really fun team if Greg Berhalter gets his stuff together and figures it out.
Back as the coach.
He needs to figure this young team out because right now they look like a ship in the sea without any direction, and now they're just like floating.
Yeah, just flowing with the tide.
We go out and we beat Mexico.
Yeah.
But then we struggle against other teams. Like we struggle against a Trinidad and Tobago.
That was a while ago.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like it's like this. It's this emotional roller coaster.
Also, I mean,
are we going to be good or are we going to be bad?
Look at the games we're playing for friendlies. We're playing Uzbekistan, Oman. You need to get some of these European squads to get better action, better opportunities.
Get a Brazil. Get a
Brazil.
Argentina. Get adventurous.
They have a Germany coming up in here in a few months, which is big. But other than that, they had Uzbekistan, Oman. And what's that going to do for your squad? Nothing.
Nothing. No.
Well, guys, we're out of time for our soccer segment, but I have basically what I think of is your most interesting game to watch this week, no matter soccer, football, any sport. What is your game that you're like, I can't miss this game? For me, it's either going to be my Bayern United or my Pats play the Dolphins. That's just gonna be my games. It's gonna be my games. It can be baseball. It can be anything. What are your guys' games to watch?
What I usually do here, I'm going to go with some baseball.
Ooh.
Orioles and Rays.
That whole series.
Quite possibly the biggest series in the AL right now. For the first seed, the Rays took that first game last night, but they still have 3 games to play. Rays are only a game behind the Orioles. That could be
It's going to be a very, very fun series. I think it's going to be definitely the highlight of the week. But I'm going to be a little bit different, or just an honorable mention. I do agree with you, though. The Milan Derby. I think it's going to be very
Milan
fun.
Derby. Of course it is.
Our 2 favorite Serie A teams going head-to-head. The 2 Milan teams for top of the table.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a huge matchup.
Especially with the Serie A, that's not as obvious as it normally is that it's who's going to win this year. I mean, last year in Napoli, they shocked everyone. So, I mean, it's going to be fun. Whoever's at the top of the table, it's not going to be there for long.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. That'll be our first episode here of Grand Slam Sports.
You'll see it. Watch it, like it, comment. comment about Charles' smiling face. He's still smiling after Aaron Rodgers.
After Aaron
still
Rodgers.
smiling, but he's
Still right here.
He's not smiling that he has to play Zach Wilson though. I mean, he's looking for a Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby, you should go just for fun.
In a few weeks, I'm gonna get my revenge.
Exactly. Give you who's the Taysom Hill? Give him Taysom Hill. Give him something.
Famous Jameis.
We'll catch you guys next week for another edition